Most people think you need to spend $5,000 to get a truly special watch, something that feels premium every time you wear it. But in 2026, that's not true anymore. Even compared to big names like Rolex, there are watches under $500 that deliver that same amazing feeling on your wrist. Today, we're looking at 10 watches that prove it. Number 10, Seiko 5 Sports SRPD 71. Feels like $5,000, and green dial automatics at $5,000 are one of the watch world's most reliably coveted aesthetics. The color that signals taste, the sunburst finishing that communicates craft, the mechanical movement that justifies the occasion. The Seiko 5 Sports SRPD 71 in forest green delivers every element of that aesthetic at a price so far below $5,000 that the comparison almost refuses to be made seriously, and then insists on being made anyway, because the dial in natural light simply does not behave like a watch that cost $100. The green is too rich. The sunburst is too alive. The automatic sweep of the seconds hand is too satisfying for the price to contain without apology. I have placed this watch next to green dial automatics at 10 and 15 times the price and conducted the comparison with the honesty that this experiment required. The feeling, not the finishing, not the heritage, not the brand weight, but the specific daily feeling of wearing something beautiful and green and mechanical, transferred to the Seiko almost completely. The feeling costs $5,000 everywhere else. Here, it costs $100. Number 9, Orient Star Semi-Skeleton. Feels like $5,000. Every time you check the time. $5,000 watches with open heart complications produce a specific experience. The moment you check the time becomes something more than checking the time, because the movement visible through the dial converts a glance into a brief encounter with mechanical beauty. The Orient Star Semi-Skeleton produces that same experience at a price that makes the $5,000 open heart conversation feel like it missed the point. Every time I check the time on this watch, the balance wheel is there, oscillating through the dial aperture with the same rhythm, the same authority, the same visual fascination that it produces in Swiss open heart pieces that charge premiums for the view. The case finishing creates the brushed and polished contrast that communicates genuine quality investment. The in-house movement performs with a dignity and precision that the visible result deserves. In 2026, the Orient Star Semi-Skeleton produces the $5,000 open heart feeling at a price where the feeling is not supposed to exist. It exists. I have checked the time many more times than necessary to confirm this. Number 8, Hamilton Khaki Field Murph. Feels like $5,000 in meaning. $5,000 buys mechanical excellence, Swiss manufacture, and the accumulated weight of brand history. It does not always buy meaning, the specific, personal, irreducible sense that the object on your wrist matters to you in a way that exists outside of any assessment of its quality or its price. The Hamilton Khaki Field Murph delivers meaning at under $500 in a concentration that $5,000 watches frequently fail to match, because meaning cannot be manufactured by a movement department or a design team, only by the encounter between an object and the person who finds themselves unable to stop thinking about it. The film connection creates an immediate, personal, completely non-transferable emotional access point. The engraved caseback makes the ownership private. The manual wind ritual makes the wearing active rather than passive. And the combination of all of it produces, on a wrist in an ordinary moment, the specific feeling that the very best watches produce. Not the feeling of wearing something expensive, but the feeling of wearing something that matters. $500. $5,000 feeling. The math has never been more correct. Number 7, Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. Feels like $5,000 on the wrist. There is a feeling that integrated bracelet watches produce. The settled, immediate, completely physical sensation of a bracelet that conforms to the wrist's shape rather than sitting on top of it, that moves with the arm rather than against it, that disappears into the wearing experience in a way that conventional lug-attached bracelets never achieve. $5,000 integrated bracelet sports watches sell that feeling and price it accordingly. The Tissot PRX Powermatic 80 sells that same feeling at under $1,000, and the gap between the price and the sensation is large enough that the first time you put it on and feel the bracelet settle exactly right, you reach for a price rationalization that doesn't come, because the feeling is the $5,000 feeling, and the watch is the sub-$1,000 watch, and the two facts refuse to reconcile into anything except gratitude. The 80-hour power reserve is better than many $5,000 movements deliver. The sapphire caseback reveals the movement with genuine pleasure. The Swiss manufacturer credentials are not a marketing claim. On the wrist, it feels like $5,000. At the register, it costs considerably less. The gap is yours to keep. Number 6. Mido Baroncelli Mechanical. Feels like $5,000 in quiet. Some $5,000 watches announce themselves. Some of the best ones do not. They wear with a quiet authority that communicates quality through physical interaction rather than visual signaling, that produces its feeling in the person wearing it rather than in the room observing it. The Mido Baroncelli Mechanical is that kind of watch at a fraction of that price. A manually wound dress watch so composed, so proportionally considered, and so completely free of the self-consciousness that lower-priced watches sometimes carry, that wearing it produces a feeling of elegant rightness that the price has no business delivering. The guilloche-inspired dial texture catches light with a richness that flat dress watch dials cannot approach. The 80-hour power reserve from the ETA-derived movement means the morning winding ritual is not an obligation, but an interaction with something that deserves the attention. The case sits on the wrist with the settled authority of an object that was designed by someone who cared about the specific person wearing it rather than the general consumer who might purchase it. At its price, the Baroncelli Mechanical produces quiet $5,000 confidence. That silence is worth everything. Number 5. Longines Master Collection Automatic. Feels like $5,000 in heritage. $5,000 of Swiss watch heritage typically means a brand that has been making movements since before the 20th century began, that has served as official timekeeper for the world's most significant sporting events, that has accumulated a documented history of precision and craft so deep that wearing the watch connects you to something larger than the object itself. Longines has all of that, 185 years of continuous Swiss manufacture, a movement heritage so significant that the brand was the official timekeeper of the Olympic Games across multiple decades, and the Master Collection Automatic delivers it at a price where $5,000 Swiss heritage watches look at what Longines is offering and have to account for the gap. The silver sunburst dial with its multi-level construction catches light with a depth that photographs consistently underestimate. The L888 movement is among the finest eboches in the Swatch Group stable. The case proportions are near perfect for formal to casual versatility. At its price, the Master Collection Automatic produces the $5,000 heritage feeling at a cost that makes the heritage feel like a right rather than a privilege. Number 4. Citizen Chronomaster AQ420. Feels like $5,000 in precision. $5,000 watches are supposed to keep exceptional time. KOSC chronometer certification, the standard that Swiss luxury watches cite as evidence of their precision, permits plus or minus 4 seconds of daily variance, which sounds tight and is tight by mechanical standards, and is also approximately 365 times less accurate than the Citizen Chronomaster AQ420's A060 caliber, which delivers plus or minus 5 seconds per year. I am aware of how that sentence sounds. I am telling you anyway because it is true, and because the implication of it, that the $5,000 watch's most cited technical justification is outperformed by a watch costing a fraction of its price by a factor of 365, is exactly the kind of fact that changes how you think about what you are actually paying for when you spend $5,000 on a watch. The EcoDrive solar charging eliminates battery management permanently. The titanium case is harder and lighter than steel. The feeling of wearing a watch that is objectively, measurably more accurate than the $5,000 alternative is the specific and satisfying feeling of knowing something that the price tag usually obscures. Number 3. Frederique Constant. Classics Heartbeat. Feels like $5,000 in theater. $5,000 watches often carry complications that create what the industry calls mechanical theater, the visual drama of a complication doing something visible. Something that makes the watch more than a timekeeping instrument and transforms the act of checking the time into a small encounter with mechanical art. The Frederique Constant Classics Heartbeat delivers that theater at a price where Swiss manufacture open-heart complications are not supposed to exist, and it delivers it with a completeness and a quality of execution that makes the Geneva manufacture credentials feel not like a surprising bonus, but like the natural home for a watch that looks and wears the way this one does. The balance wheel visible through the dial aperture oscillates with the same visual authority that it carries in open-heart watches at 5 and 10 times the price. The case finishing creates the light contrasts of a serious dress watch. The automatic movement performs with quiet precision. At its price, the classic's heartbeat produces $5,000 theatrical pleasure in a room full of watches that cost $5,000 to be theatrical. The production value is identical. The admission price is not. Number 2, Tudor Black Bay, Wideratu 58 Navy Blue. Feels like $5,000. Every single day. The $5,000 feeling is supposed to be special. Supposed to arrive only on the mornings when you reach for the significant piece. Supposed to be preserved by the rarity of the wearing rather than available every day without restriction. The Tudor Black Bay 58. Navy Blue refuses that restriction completely. It delivers the $5,000 feeling every single day, without ceremony, without any sense that the wearing should be reserved for an occasion worthy of it, because it is under $1,000, and the freedom from financial anxiety that the lower price provides is itself a component of the feeling rather than a deduction from it. The navy blue dial changes with the light in a way that prevents the familiarity that most watch dials eventually produce. The 39mm case fits every wearing context without compromise. The in-house movement runs for 70 hours with a reliability that makes the watch feel like it is on your side rather than requiring your management. Every morning I reach for it without deliberation. Every morning the feeling is there. Not the $5,000 performance of a feeling, the actual thing, every day, without the price. Number 1. Seiko Presage SPB 161. Enamel dial. Feels like $5,000 in its sleep. The $5,000 feeling has a specific and identifiable source. The moment when an object exceeds every expectation you brought to evaluating it and replaces those expectations with something larger and less articulable and more genuine. That moment happens with the Seiko Presage SPB 161 enamel dial every time someone encounters the dial in natural light for the first time. Not sometimes, every time. The porcelain enamel surface catches morning light and holds it in a way that no printed or lacquered dial at any price point replicates, generating a luminosity from within rather than reflecting it from without, glowing with the specific warmth of a material fired at extreme temperatures and transformed into something that behaves differently from its origins. People who hold this watch and do not know what it costs consistently guess a number significantly higher than the actual price. Not because it looks expensive in the conventional sense, but because it looks genuinely extraordinary, and genuinely extraordinary things are, in the buyer's experience, always expensive. They are not always expensive. This one is not. It feels like $5,000 in its sleep, effortlessly, constantly, without trying to be anything except what it is. What it is turns out to be enough. More than enough. The feeling confirms it every morning.